I am Andrew Hammer from Driven Athlete Training, and today I have Nick here, who has kindly donated some of his time to be able to share his experience over MDP. So first of all, thank you for jumping on, Nick.
No worries, mate.
Cool. So I've got a few questions for you. My first question that I have for you is tell everyone, first of all, a little bit about the type of riding that you do and where you go riding.
So mostly motocross. I've done a little bit of arena cross in the past, but it's mostly just motocross, and do a lot of riding in the New South Wales sort of Sydney area where I can sort of get and where I can race.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been sort of building up to sort of race in the East Coast MX series and be competitive in it. So that's our goal for this MDP thing, and it's working for sure.
Cool. Awesome. Sweet. And so we've been working together roughly or around 6 months now. So what made you reach out? Why did we have a chat in the first place?
I think it was just more because, you know, I wanted to be competitive, like I said, in the East Coast MX series. My race pace was only sort of till about 7 minutes on the bike. So I thought, you know, I've seen you previously talking about race fitness, and, you know, you've been doing it for a few years now. So I thought, like, he's got to have some sort of clue of what's going on.
Yeah.
Contacted you and had to speak with you. And then, you know, massive progress from when I was 6 months ago. And it's just crazy to think about it.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Cool. Sweet. And so what changes have you noticed since we first spoke, since we had that first call?
A lot of mental change. A lot more positivity, and a lot more, like, obviously physical changes are like as well with strength. I haven't put on a whole lot of weight, but I know I'm a lot stronger than what I used to be. And I feel a lot like more flexible than what I used to be as well. Especially in the bike, and if the bike gets out of shape, I feel like I have a little bit more of a handle if it gets out of shape. But yeah, definitely the mental side of it for sure.
Cool. Awesome. And so to talk us through that, because I know that's something that we've put a lot of work into, is more the mental, the mindset side. Like, talk us through the improvements or the changes that you've noticed there.
Definitely, like I said, with the positive sort of outlook on it. I remember when I first started the MDP program, it was all about just, I have a goal and I'm just going to run as fast as I can to the goal, and then sort of just keep pushing, and then sort of, you know, if there's a wall in front of me, we'll just work our way to get through the wall, and we'll just try and keep pushing that way. But I feel like, you know, I had a little bit of an injury and we were out for a couple of weeks. So I felt like that sort of matured me a little bit, and to sort of just sit back and then just kind of think about it, and to make a way around the wall instead of just trying to run straight through it.
Yeah, cool. And so how did you, to talk more to that, like, how did you approach it differently being in the program compared to how you would have approached the same situation, say, last year?
I think I just have, like I said, a little bit more maturity about it. It was more just like, just take your time with it and figure it out, and try and figure out a plan to attack it, rather than just trying to jump into it at once. Because, you know, you said in a round table, or maybe one of our coaching calls, it was like, you know, you go in there to the gym, and if you have the wrong body movement, you might be able to lift the weight, but then you're going to, like, you fuck your back or something like that. But if you go in there, and maybe if you take a little bit longer to build up your weight, but you learn how to do the movement first, and you strive to be a little bit better and have a little bit more progress. And I felt like that was with my mental attitude.
Yeah.
That if I ran into them head first, then, you know, a couple of weeks down the track, I'd burn out, and I would think, like, fuck this shit, like, why am I even doing this? And then I feel like now, because I'm taking a little bit more of a stride to it, and I'm sort of like taking it as it comes, and just sort of having a plan for it, and trying to organize everything. It's making it a lot. It's making it a little bit more easy to progress, and it's making it a little bit easier to do the meal prep, and it's you know, it's just an easier program to follow, to sort of take your time with it and organize it.
Awesome. Sweet. So it's having systems in place to be more organized, to be more consistent, rather than going, you're saying before, it's like you'd go super, super hard, and then something would come up, and then you go, fuck that, and then you'd be off track, or something else would happen, and you were never consistent. Every time an obstacle came up, then that was it. You went off track.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And so what improvements have you noticed? Strength? What? I guess talk more about on the bike. What improvements have you noticed on the bike, Nick?
Being able to ride at race pace for longer.
Okay.
Um, I mean, we talked about, I think on the roundtable, about my intensity and how we have to build up that a little bit.
Hmm.
But by myself, I'm still able to push for longer. So, like I said before, I mean, I was doing 7-minute motos, and by the end of it, I was like basically collapsed, falling off the bike. But now I'm
Yeah.
doing like 20 to 30-minute motos, just kind of having the attitude of just grinding it out rather
Yeah.
than giving up
Mm.
at 7 minutes,
Well,
and just grinding it out and grinding it out and grinding it out.
yeah. Cool. So at the start, just for everyone watching, how many minutes or how many laps do you reckon you could get out at like a race pace before the fitness was a challenge? Before you started to fade, how long at race pace?
Probably like 3 or 4. It
Okay.
wasn't very long. It was like, if I was doing a 15-minute moto for a race, it
Mm.
was like I'd have to really conserve myself, either
Mm.
push really hard at the start and struggle at the end, or like
Mm.
struggle or just coast at the start and then try and push at the end. Where
Yeah.
now I'm sort of being able to push that whole sort of time and
Mm.
trying to, like, instead of falling behind and then trying to catch back up again, I'm sort of just holding my pace and just
Mm.
being able to just keep and going. And obviously, when I first started, I was doing a 60-kilo deadlift, where
Mm.
now, like, my record, I think, is 120 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Cool.
And I'm hitting it consistently. I've doubled in what I can lift, so
Yeah.
I'm able to double in what I can do on the bike with strength.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so how many laps are you doing now so you're at 3 to 4 laps. How many do you reckon or where are we at now?
Probably about 10 off, probably 12, 15,
Okay.
depending on the day. Depends if I go in there with,
Awesome.
if I've warmed up properly, or if I've, I think
Yeah.
obviously, like what you've given me with my warm up to get onto the track, and then with
Mm.
my, if I'm having protein shakes or if I'm having water on that day,
Mm.
um, if it all goes right, then I can, I'll just slam out laps. But obviously, if something happens or if the track's a
Mm.
little bit rougher, then I'm more like 12 laps or
Yeah.
13, 14, but I'm around that mark now.
Cool. Yeah. So it's at a minimum. At a minimum, you've doubled where you're at before, if not triple towards 4 times where you've been when you
Yeah.
first started.
And even if I'm not like, that's at like a proper, like, full on pushing pace, and then
Mm.
after that I'm still at sort of 80%,
Yeah.
still just kind of cruising along at 80%,
Yeah.
which
Cool.
is way better than like coasting and then trying to
Mm.
push, and then, or pushing and then coasting.
Yeah. So before it's almost like you hit this wall and you had this big drop off in speed, whereas now you can push a lot harder for a lot longer, but then it doesn't drop off as quickly. You can drop off to that 80% and then be more consistent at that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Cool. And so what did you used to feel like before when you got to that 4 lap mark? What were you feeling at the end of that?
Oh, like, you're struggling to breathe, you'd be
Mm.
sore, you'd be like, the bike would be moving around, and then, like, I don't know, like when you go and try and get into a rut and it wouldn't go as like you wanted
Mm.
to, and the bike would move around a lot,
Yeah.
and then like the mental attitude would come in, like, oh fuck, I can't hold onto this thing
Mm.
anymore. Fuck, it's getting hard, and fuck, this is difficult. Where
Mm.
I feel like if you just, like, same thing with the riding, is that if you just take a second to breathe,
Mm.
relax, and just kind of remember your riding positions,
Mm.
to have that clutch on that bike point in the ruts, to make it like you can still drive out of them, but then you can
Mm.
still rev it, like, have the good drive, and instead of just trying to ride around the track at a million miles,
Mm. Awesome.
have a plan for each corner. And
Hmm. So it's been a more organized, having a more structured approach going in. So before you've gone from you're getting to that stage where it's really starting to affect your riding. You're starting to slow down. You're not making the sharp decisions. You're not riding smoothly like you were at the start.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And so how do you feel now when you get off the bike or when you get towards the end of the 10 laps or 15 laps?
Obviously, I feel absolutely fucked, but
Hmm.
it's like, you still feel better. Like, you go from doing 3 or 4 laps and you're like,
Hmm.
fuck, that was hard, and then you do 15 laps and you're
Hmm.
like, fuck, that was hard, but it was a lot
Yeah.
better than just doing 4.
Yeah. Awesome. Sweet. So it's still hard. It's just that your hard now is
Yeah.
15 laps, whereas before your hard was 3 to 4 laps.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
was just, like, I know I can do more than 15, and I could
Mm.
probably grind out like 20 or so,
Mm. Yeah.
but it's just knowing that, I can go, if I do 80% for the first part of the moto, and then I
Mm.
know that I've got 15 laps of me being able to ride 100%.
Yeah.
So it's like having that mental thing of saying, fuck, I got more in the tank if I need to use
Yeah.
it.
That's cool. That's awesome. And what does that do to your confidence going into rides and going into race days?
Obviously, it boosts it, like, out of control. It's like,
Mm.
you go in there and you're like, fuck, I can only do 4 laps. So I'm going
Mm.
to have to sort of, pick and choose where I go.
Yeah.
But if you go in there and you're like, it's only a 5 lap race. I know I
Mm.
can do 15. I
Yeah.
can ride this when it's at 100% the whole time. I should be
Yeah.
able to follow through this race.
Yeah. That's cool. So before it was like, before you'd even started the race, you're kind of already out of it because you're going like, I've got to conserve energy. I've got to make sure I go hard here or slow down here. It was all about just trying to pace it just so you made it to the end. Whereas now you can go in and you don't have to worry about that. You know that you can go the full race and
Yeah.
put your attention elsewhere on actually riding the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Cool. Sweet. And so talk us through what type of training were you doing before you started MDP?
Was doing a lot of cycling and like a lot of sort of like heavier lifting
Mm.
in quotation marks.
Yep.
I was doing more like leg press, and it was just like I was doing stuff, and I was like, "Fuck, this has got to work." So I'm building up muscle, and then get on the bike and feel like shit. And then I was like, "Well, I want to get fitter, and I want to get better at this." So obviously contacted somebody that knows what they're talking about, and here we are. It's just looking back on it, it's a little bit sort of surprising on some of the workouts that you do. Just
Yeah.
to try and get like race fit, and then to what I'm doing now is like it makes sense of
Yeah.
what I'm doing in the gym.
What's an
Compared to what
example
I
of
was
like
doing
one of the workouts that you do, or what was an average training session before?
before. It was more like so I'd try and just do like I do like leg press and probably like squat, and then I'd probably do like bench press, and then I'd jump on the rowing machine and try and just do some rowing.
Okay.
Wouldn't sort of set a goal for myself.
Yeah.
We would do maybe some bent over rows, but it was pretty rare. And then we got onto the program and it completely changed it.
Yeah. Okay. And so why do you reckon what you did before wasn't working for you? Because like it's not like you were sitting on your ass. It's not like you were like a blank canvas and expecting to be fit by just riding the bike. Like you're actually out there just cycling, you're getting to the gym, like you appear to be doing the right things that should help you on the bike. Looking back now, why do you reckon that didn't get you the results on the bike that you're after?
I think it was like I think a big thing for me, and I feel like I've already rabbled on about it a lot but is my mental attitude towards it.
Yeah.
I think it was that thing of going in there and being like, "Oh, we'll see how it goes, or we'll do this and we'll try that," and I didn't really have a routine for myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's what changed it was that especially in the bike, if you go out for me now, like I've got someone that comes with me every time I go riding, and it's like we're going to do a 30-minute moto today, and we're going to do 2 of them, and you're going to do this one first. We're going to have like 10-minute break, and then you're out there again.
Yeah.
And before it would just be like I'd go riding on myself, and it was like, oh, I'll see how we go. I'll just get out on the bike and just have some fun. Or like I feel like I'm taking a lot more seriously now, but I'm having a lot more fun taking it seriously. So I'm still enjoying it, but I'm in to another level.
Yeah. So before, like, so the same mindset you had in training, you had with your riding. It's like with your riding, you just rock up, the equipment that was there, you'd use, you'd put some weight on, you'd do some exercises. There wasn't really any program. You didn't know if you were progressing or not. You were just going in there, trying to get your body moving, get a bit of a sweat up, get your heart rate up, and then that was the gauge of whether you had a good workout or not. And then the same thing with your riding as well. It's just you rock up to the track and do some laps or do whatever you felt like doing. There was no structure, there was no progression, no way to get you from point A to point B. It was all just you're doing stuff just hoping that it's going to work, hope and pray like a lot of riders do. Yeah. Cool. Awesome, man. Sweet. And so what were your thoughts then, like when we first started, like when you first got started in MDP in the first few weeks and you saw the programming, you saw what we were doing, what were your initial thoughts?
I think my initial thought was, fuck, this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
It was a bit overwhelming. It was like, I remember saying it was like, this is what you got to do at the gym for Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And then I was like, okay. And then it was like, but make sure you have all these meals prepped for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And like, these are the complex carbs, these are carbs, these are whatever. And I was like, fuck, this is so much information for my brain to handle right now.
Yeah. Had you ever done meal prep before? No. So the whole nutrition, the whole eating, meal prep, that was like completely new for you. That was brand new.
Yeah.
So, cool.
It was like all these information and all these like words that were trying to, get themselves inside my brain. I was like, this is going to be so difficult.
Yeah.
And now I just take that little sheet that has all the carbs and all the complex
Yeah.
carbs and fats and proteins with me to
Cool.
shopping,
Yeah.
and I'll just make a dinner out of all of them, and then
Awesome.
I'll make lunches and stuff like that,
Sweet.
just
Yeah.
at Wolthers, and then
Cool.
cook it all when I get home.
Yeah. Sweet. So how do you find your meal prep and getting the right foods in now compared to before?
Oh, so much better. Yeah, just like I think that even helped my mental attitude for it.
Mm.
Was like you just feel a lot better.
Mm.
You know, like, I feel like if you eat bad food or you drink bad things or whatever, you
Mm.
just you have like this like 15-minute sugar rush or 15-minute like protein rush or something like that or whatever's inside
Mm.
your food, and then you like for the rest of the day you just feel like shit and you're like, fuck, this is horrible. Like
Yeah.
I just I wish I didn't eat that or
Mm.
drink that.
Yeah.
And then eating a good food, you're like, fuck, this tastes mediocre. I
Mm.
could probably do a little better, but
Mm.
it's good for yourself. And then 15 minutes down the track, you still feel great. And
Yeah.
an hour down the track, you still feel great. And then
Mm.
lunch comes around, and you're having something a little bit bigger or something a
Mm.
little bit different. So yeah,
Yeah.
heaps better. And the
Yeah.
meal prep's always good as well because then you don't have to worry about it as well
Mm.
during the day because it's
Awesome.
all out.
Yeah. So it was just adapting. It was doing things differently, doing things differently. You knew that you had to do things differently to get a better result. Than
Mm.
if you kept doing the same shit you're doing before, you're not going to get better. You can't
Yeah.
expect to get a better result.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man. That's cool. And so, talk about how much riding you've done over the program. Like a lot of guys think, like because like to double, to triple, to 4 times your level of race fitness in such a short period of time that's quite a big claim. And that's what a lot of people think, that to get those types of results, that you must have been riding all day, every day, and getting on the bike, and that's the thing that holds
Mm.
them back. So just for everyone watching, like over the last 6 months, how often do you go riding, Nick?
So I'd probably ride twice a week.
Hmm.
I normally ride the Saturday, and then if I'm racing, I normally ride the Sunday,
Hmm.
and then I'll go out training on Monday as well.
Cool.
I normally ride 2 times a week, sometimes 3 if I get time, but I've
Yeah.
got a lot of shit to do during the weekend as well. That's just
Cool.
sort of the only time I get off of work, and then
Yeah.
Monday is like my day off that I go
Hmm.
riding on.
Yeah.
So I got to use Monday sort of like as my riding day. Like I can't
Cool.
do anything else on Monday. Like I've got to
Yeah.
do that. And then yeah, so it's like the only times I really go out riding. I wish I could go riding every day of the week. I wish I
Yeah.
was sponsored by a big team. Riding every day.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So riding that often, is that how often how often have you been riding that often? Like, is that just since you started the program? Is that something you've been doing for a while, or how long have you had that organized or structured for?
Sort of when we started the program, I
Cool.
sort of got out
Yep.
and just
Awesome.
straight away I sort of just told
Mm.
them what's going to happen, and
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do it. And
Cool.
it's good because it gives me that extra day. Nobody's out anywhere. I can just go to a track, and it's just I go to one of my mates' private tracks, and it's just
Yeah.
nobody's there. I can just put down motos and I
Yeah.
can just really enjoy myself. I don't have to worry about lap riders or
Mm.
far guys behind me or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just that
Awesome.
time for me to progress on the bike.
Yeah. Just for you, it's really just you're a lot more organized now than what you were
Mm.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, man. That's cool. And to talk us through, first of all, what do you feel helped you the most in MDP to get the success that you have? Like, because you've come a long way since we first started, which has been really awesome to see. But what part of the program do you feel has helped you the most to get to where you are now, to be the person you are today?
Probably like your help with the coaching calls.
Okay.
I feel like that's like you know you call up and you're like, fuck, what's going on? And I'd say, not a lot, or some days it's like, fuck, I had a really shit day on the bike, and you just come up with a plan for me, and
Mm.
just it's easier I feel like for someone else to come up with a plan for me. So
Mm.
especially when I told you about that bad day of riding, and you're
Mm.
like, well, if Ricky Carmichael had a bad day of riding, would he give
Mm.
up and
Mm.
and sort of say fuck this and
Mm.
go do something else and give up riding, or will you just keep progressing and keep being
Mm.
the person that he is? And it's
Mm.
like that makes sense. I'm just going to keep pushing and stop,
Yeah.
coming up with excuses and saying
Mm.
like what you said with the round table is like, oh, dinner's ready, gotta go home now. I can't do this, so I'm going to go
Yeah.
home now. Like,
Cool.
stop. I've stopped trying to make excuses for myself, and I'm just pushing instead of saying like, oh, dinner's ready. I got to go, or like, fuck, today was hard. Now, right at my natural level or whatever. So
Yeah, cool. So you're more resourceful. You find way you've adopted the resourceful mindset of finding ways to get shit done, finding ways to get your goal, to get better with your riding, to get fitter, to keep your nutrition on track, rather than doing what most riders do, where they blame resources and go, I don't have enough time, I'm too tired, I don't have enough energy, I'm too busy at work, I've got too much of a physical job, I've got to get home for dinner, I've got to help my partner out, look after the family, and the shopping list goes on.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it's more like what you said to me as well. Is just trying to be more organized and not trying to put it on being busy. Like sometimes I do get busy, and like sometimes I can't do certain things that I'd like to do with the training.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just being like creating excuses and saying, oh, I had to, I can go do this and help so and so I couldn't do this today, or and it's like saying I can't do Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday. I have to have those days when we got that training. There's just no sort of exceptions anymore. So
yeah, that's cool. So to develop that self-awareness, to know how you think, how you process things, the decisions you make, and you're able to make a conscious decision and go, hey, is this an actual real reason for me not doing this thing, or is it just some excuse or roadblock that I'm putting in the way because I don't want to do it? Yeah. Awesome, man. Cool. And so what would be your recommendation either to guys that have just joined MDP, or even for riders that are thinking about jumping on board and being part of the community? What would be your recommendation to them?
Definitely sort of for the guys that want to or thinking about doing it, definitely do it. I mean, it changes your way you look at how to get your race fitness up. Like it changed me a lot. And for the guys that are already in here, and if I think it's all about finding that motivation to keep yourself going. Like some of my favourite riders are, Brian Villapoto, Jeffrey Hurlings, and Adam Cincerillo. And I don't think any of those guys have ever given up when they were like really far down in their personal ruts. If like Ryan Villapoto, if he has that massive MXGP accident when he broke his like fucking some bone in his ass, I'm pretty sure he would try and get back on the bike, and he's still riding today. But like it's one of those things that you don't give up. You just keep pushing forward and try and make the best out of what you've got, and not try and not make excuses for yourself, and just try and keep moving forward and keep that motivation going, and try and build up some sort of intensity level, which is what I'm trying to do now. And just try and find something that you can go for. Even with you always saying create small goals instead of creating like maybe big goals, but then they have the small goals inside it to get you towards that big goal a little easier.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Sweet. Cool. So it's really just, it's being consistent. So for you, the big learnings for you from the program has been, it's more mindset wise. It's the perspective that you have on your training, the way that you organize yourself, the way that you think about things, the way that you solve problems, and just things that happen in life, whether it's work stuff or injury stuff or riding stuff or whatever it is. It's just changing the way that you look at that stuff so that you can get to your goals anyway. You're not looking back going, shit, like all this stuff got in the way and that's why I didn't hit my goals.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Sweet. Well, great work. And I'm looking forward to the coming months together as well. But thank you for taking a bit of time out for our guys today and being able to give them your perspective on the program.
Yeah, no worries. Anytime.